Morning, everybody. If you can hear me, I'm just setting up the Facebook Live. We're going to get started in just a moment here. So it's uploading as we speak. There it is. And there you are. Okay, well, good morning. And this is series number 2 today of For the Love of Real Estate, for the love of real estate. So this is a series that I'm doing weekly now. And it's really about the growth of your businesses and how we can be of support to you. And today, actually last week we had our first series, and our first series was really about getting into production through COVID. So my name is Susan Johnson. I'm with Susan Johnson and Associates, eXp Realty. I've been a team lead, for a number of years. I've run real estate brokerages and been a real estate agent. And of course, I am still a broker running my own team. So I hope I can bring you a tremendous amount of wealth of information as weeks go by, that you can just take little tidbits of things that will help move the needle in your business every single week. So we've got a big one today. I'm super excited. This is going to be more about the webinar style here today. In different weeks, I may be bringing in other people as guests, like I did last week, and do some interviews and whatnot. But today I really wanted to get some real clarity and some real focus moving forward. So today's topics, what top agents do to be in growth, not only professionally, but personally and professionally. So that being said, what does that mean, being in growth? Being in growth means actually being learning based and always wanting to move forward in everything you do. And again, once again, it doesn't just have to be, professionally, it's also personally. Today's content is not only for realtors. Anybody can take this course and also, apply it to many different areas of their lives. So being in growth, sometimes there's something, as we talked about last week, a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. So the fixed mindset, there's a lot of doubt. There's a lot of, what if I fail? What if I fall down? There's a lot of, uncertainty, if you will. And in a growth mindset, it's really asking the right questions. What can I do? How can I do it to keep moving forward? Okay. So when you're in that growth mindset, you just really are always looking for the challenge to learn something new. So that's the approach I want you to have and to adopt if you're not already doing it. As weeks go by, this is just building a foundation to further that growth. Hopefully that sounds real good. I'm only turning videos off today because we're going Facebook Live and I'm not bringing in questions quite yet. So what I've learned over the years, and by the way, if you don't know me that well, what you're going to find out is that everything I teach and train, I've done. Okay. If I haven't done it, it might be something newer, like even all this Facebook Live is newer for me. I've taught for years in classroom settings at Board of Realtors, at Women's Council of Realtors and all that. But being in front of a screen, just talking to a screen, it's very new and different for me. And so there is, a little bit of nervousness to that, just putting a camera in your face. To me, it's just kind of a natural thing to talk to people and interact. But either way, my point being is when you're going in growth, you actually need to step out of your comfort zone a little bit. And I hope you all agree with that. I'm sure you probably do. So you always want to step out of your comfort zone a little bit. Now, we hear that all the time, and yet, gosh, sometimes it's really hard to do. So I'm going to share with you something I did. Now, I'm not saying you have to do this, but my whole point is you want to do something called a pattern interrupt in your life. A pattern interrupt is something I learned when I went through Tony Robbins. Anthony Robbins, you're going to hear me talk about a lot because he has been such a huge influencer in not only my personal life, which those are other stories some of you know, but also in my professional career. So getting out of your comfort zone means creating some form of a pattern interrupt in your life. I mean, sometimes we find ourselves doing the same things repeatedly over and over and over again. We're hoping for different results, and yet we're wondering, why aren't we getting different results? Well, you haven't done something new. And sometimes that's something new, you're not too sure what you're capable of doing. So here's my quick story for you, and we're going to dive into some really great content today. And it's not just the generic stuff. Stay with us. Here's my story. Years back, and remember, I'm very authentic. I'm going to share wins and losses just the same because I've learned so much from failures over the years. So sadly to say, years back, I unfortunately, I went through a divorce and my mindset was not good. Obviously, I was very depressed and just felt like things just weren't moving the way it needed to be in my life, and relationships, all sorts of things were just not there, not good. I decided to take a weekend and go to Anthony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within, and it was the best thing I could have ever done, because talk about full immersion, spending 4 days. Well, I didn't quite understand really what the whole concept of, and those 4 days were going to be. I didn't really know the impact it would have on my life. So I was commuting to Long Beach back, and basically I missed part of the event because when he goes full immersion, I mean, you're like 8 o'clock in the morning till 2 a.m. It's not like it ends at 5. And so to get to my quick part of my pattern interrupt, Tony does called a fire walk. And the fire walk, it actually resembles a lot of things. It gets your mind in state in terms of beyond beliefs that you may have, limiting beliefs, if you will, but also just, getting your mind in a specific state that you can accomplish something. And we do this big fire walk where you walk over hot coals. Some of you may have done it and know exactly what I'm talking about. But that first year I did this, and I've done it multiple times since then, I missed that fire walk, and I went, "Talk on it." And now I get it, why that's important to do that. I missed it because I had to come home to my kids. So when I came back, there was somebody taking care of my daughter, and I didn't know, but he follows Tony Robbins too. And he goes, "Well, you do realize when you erase something, you need to replace it with something else." And he said, "You do happen to know that I'm the owner of Skydive Lake Elsinore?" And I said, "Oh, no, I did not." And of course, I'm high from my weekend. And he says, "You need to do a skydive. You need to do something totally different that's going to break you through any kind of limiting beliefs you have. It's going to open your world to taking new risks and doing new things." And I was so pumped. And I said, "Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, right?" So once I committed to that, and of course went back to my office, told the agents, told people I teach at Lake Elsinore, LA Fitness, that I was doing it, there was no backing out. But I got to tell you, and to move on quickly now through this, the day I did that was exhilarating. It was scary as heck, but I got to tell you, the going up in the plane was the scariest part. It was actually an I Love Lucy episode. You see the door open, everybody's jumping out, and you're going, "Oh my God, this is the only way out." But when you get out to the side and you go, it was the most freeing experience, falling about 200 miles an hour or whatever, but it felt like you were actually floating. I could see the ocean, Lake Elsinore, and Canyon Lake in one view. It was amazing. Where I'm going again with all this is when we came down, it was the most exhilarating feeling. Sometimes things can be very scary when you're taking risks, when you're making changes, when you're doing something you haven't done before. It doesn't have to be a skydive, it can be anything, but that was a pattern interrupt for me that day. And it gave me the confidence and the exhilarating feeling of, what, I can do anything. Anything I really want to, I can do. I just need to be brave enough and have the courage to take that action. So I wanted to frame this whole morning with that pattern interrupt of growth. So, when you do that, you also want to not just say take action. All right. Taking massive action is great. We need to take massive action to get any type of result. The fact is, though, taking action doesn't mean just being busy. Okay. We can be busy all day and not get anything done. So today, I'm going to be focusing with you on very specific action items. And I hope if you don't have a pad and pen with you, that you grab one or you rewatch this video and you do it again. We should be streaming on Facebook. I can't see Facebook, just so you know. So if anybody's out there making comments, I'm actually on the Zoom and I'll be able to watch it later and return comments. But let's talk about that. First action step into growth is getting some clarity. Where the heck do you want to go? Okay, get some clarity. Where do you want to go? And if you take some of my live classes, you're going to see one of the things I do is, I hear some feedback. One of the things I do is is that I will pull an arrow back as an example. And when you shoot a target, you always want to aim high. Okay. So you've got to pull it back in order to move forward. And that's what we're doing today. I hear a little one on there. Hi, little one. I'm not sure whose little one it is, but
it's Penelope.
Penelope.
Sorry, I forgot to mute myself.
Hi, little Penelope. Oh my God, she's a joy. She's such a blessing in our family. Okay, so there she is. So pulling that arrow back means getting ready to launch, and getting clarity is step number one. Getting clarity with where you want to go, and that's so easily said but not done. I'm going to share with you one of the things that I do, and this is going to be just a quick snippet of something I do one-on-one with agents. And some of you that maybe on this call or on the Facebook Live, I've done this with. And when I do this one-on-one with an agent, it can take 4 to 6 hours to do this. I mean, I call it a gift to the agent I'm working with, because people don't slow down. To be agents, we're very good givers. We're always giving to our clients, our family. We're always giving, but we don't take the time to give to ourselves. This is a gift to you to give to yourself. I love working with agents on. So it's called your future self. Your future self. And instead of goal planning, you're working forward. What we do is we actually get together and you kind of visualize this yourself. And you can do this for 1 year, 3 year, 5 years. Usually when I do the one-on-one, it's a 5 year, because I want to really spend that time with that agent and drill down. But you can even do it for 1 year. It's called your future self, where you just take it a year later, 3 years or 5 years, and you say, today's May 14th. You're going to say, okay, today's May 14th, 2021. We are celebrating. You are exhilarated and you're pumped, because in this past year, in my business, this has happened. It's already happened. We are living in the moment that it's already taken place. Okay. That's the mindset I'm going to put you in, is that what you've done has taken place. So what we do.
Nicole, you need to mute your mic, please.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
I'm going to put up a little piece of paper so you can kind of see the 4 quadrants. I'm going to have you do a 4 quadrant. Okay. And normally I do this on a big, huge whiteboard, or a big, actually they're big, the big pads or whatever they are. But you take 4 quadrants on a piece of paper and you break them down. Okay. Because it's not enough just to say, oh, I just want to do this. It's not going to be specific enough. You've got to be very, very specific when you get clarity. So you may take 4 quadrants. These are the most common ones as I work with agents, but they can be whatever you want. But the most common ones we have is a business quadrant. What has happened in your business in the last 12 months that you are so pumped because this happened? Then we look at your financial. Where are you financially? What has happened in this last year that you are so pumped because financially, either you paid off debt, you've got, money in savings, you've been able to, invest, whatever your goals are, we'll find those out. Then we take another quadrant. It could be family and relationships. Are you spending enough time with your husband, your significant other, your children? Maybe there's a fractured relationship somewhere in your life, in a family or a friend, or something that you want to actually have closure on. You want to actually mend, whatever that is, that's the quadrant there. Maybe it's health. Are you wanting to get into better health? Is it something physical? Is it emotional? Is it spiritual? Whatever it is for you, you can make that quadrant. Okay, so it's getting clarity, and you're going to actually first ask yourself in these areas, what do you want? What do you want to have happened a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Another one, another fun one I've had people do is leisure and travel. There's people that want to travel and they never do. They're saying someday is not going to come. You've got to really plan it out. So these are some of the quadrants I'm going to recommend you write down: business, financial, family, relationships, health, well-being, whatever those 4 quadrants are. And each one of them, you're going to get clarity, and you're going to ask yourself, in a year from now, if this has happened in this area of my life, I'm going to be exhilarated. I'm going to be pumped that this has happened. This very much models to Anthony Robbins' RPM program. If you haven't heard of that, it's called, it's called RPM, Results, Purpose, and Method. I can't teach this all in this particular meeting today, but this is a start for you. Find out what it is in these 4 areas, and I want you to make sure you write that down, okay? Write that down. So that's going to get you started on getting that clarity. Now, there's a next step to that. Why do you want it? Because we can write down whatever we want, doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? There is power in putting emotion and anchors into the why, your big why you want whatever it is you just said you wanted. So you really need to dive deep here, because, and this is what we do in the 4 to 5 hours, I start drilling down and people will self-discover why they want something. So why you want has to be putting some massive emotion behind what you're wanting to achieve. Because when you do that, you're going to anchor those feelings and nothing's going to stop you at that point. Nothing will stop you when you put the biggest why behind what you want. And that's missing for a lot of people. And, some people are just saying, well, I'm not sure exactly where I want to go. It's very vague. They try to model other people, but they jump around so much that they never get and focus in that clarity on what they want and why they want it. So the next step, obviously, is to really write down why you want that. If you want to close X many transactions in a year, and you want to earn X amount of GCI in a year, why? What's it going to do for you? Earning more money and closing more deals is not the end answer game. All right. It's what it's going to do to fund your family and your life. What's going to be that power that's going to bring you and take you through all the milestones. I ordered this new, I wasn't bringing this up, but as we can see this, it came really big. I didn't know I ordered it this big, but this poster here, and it starts, the fear and failure and no sleep and judgment. These are all the things you don't see because you're passing through all the limiting beliefs to get all the way up to perseverance to succeed to that goal you want. So hopefully you're with me. Hopefully I'm giving you something that will get you on a journey, because it doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to be happening in a 30-minute call or 45-minute call here. It happens as a process. So each week as you join me, I want to try to continue to help bring you along in this process. What do you want? Why do you want it? I suggest you get, this is kind of what they look like. You start putting them on these big boards here, and you start drilling it down and working at it. All right, so one of the scenarios I think is I was reading a book and I read a little scenario about this, and it talks about, obviously Tony Robbins talks about, pain and pleasure. We always want to do what we move away from pain to gain pleasures. And some of the things we have to do to get to success is painful. So we run away from it. We don't follow through. We find out all these limiting beliefs of why we can't do it, or we get fear and we think we're going to fall down and we're going to make a fool of ourselves, or it's not going to work out, or we're going to, whatever it is. But that's the pain you have to get through to be able to take action and make something happen. The story I read was called The Crocodile Story, and it talks about, we don't have any reason to cross a river when it's crocodile infested. I mean, none of us would want to do that, and we wouldn't want to do that. And we really have no reason to do it. Even if it's beautiful on the other side, we're going to say, I'm not crossing that for nothing. I don't need to do that. However, let's change the way that looks for a moment. Let's put one of your children on the other side of that lake or that river, and that child of yours is in danger. All right, the child of yours is in danger. I will tell you right now, I guarantee you nothing will stop you to cross that river, because over the other side, you're going to go help your child, because there's a meaning behind it. Nothing's going to stop. In fact, you wouldn't just walk across it. You would bolt and you would run and you would get yourself over that river, no matter what was in the way. So think about those kind of things. That's a little drastic. At the same time, find out why that's going to drive you that powerfully to what you really want. That's getting your clarity. Okay. Write it down, put it in writing. Don't just have it in your head. Use these steps I'm telling you. Action step number 3, you're probably going to think I'm going to say, okay, how are you going to get there? What's your method? What's your strategy? We will absolutely go there because you have to have a strategy. You can't just wander and not have a strategy. But that's not where I'm going to go right now. Action step number 3 is something that I think is missed a lot. I think it's missed a lot, and that's why I brought it out today. Who do you need to be? Who do you need to be to actually reach that goal? Who do you need to be to take the action steps that are necessary to get you where you want to go? Who do you need to become? Who do you need to be? Resonate with that question, okay? Because beliefs are very powerful. You know, beliefs can either create something or destroy it. So if you believe you can do it, but you're not exactly sure what method or strategy, see how this is going, is going to get you there. You need to understand more about yourself and how you behave, because every one of us have a natural behavioral style and an adaptive behavioral style. They are very different. There's a natural behavioral style that when pressed up against a wall, or when you are in the most highest stressful position, that you are going to behave in a certain way. There are strengths that you have, and only you have. It's your individual strengths that you need to understand what they are. You may subconsciously know it, but you might not consciously know where your strengths lie. And in order for you to take the actions, when you start planning your action step, it needs to be based on who you are. So when I say, who do you need to be, or who do you need to become, it's not somebody else. You need to be the best version of yourself. You need to be the best you in peak level of performance. And the way you do that is through understanding yourself. Does that seem easy? Hold the mirror up. Who am I? I don't know. Okay, let's talk about that. Step number 3, you're going to get rid of some limiting beliefs. You're going to take a little test. This is your action step number 3. Action step number 1, do your 4 quadrants: business, finance, family, health, whatever your quadrants are, leisure, travel, whatever they are, you can do those. Find out what it is you want. Okay? Put your why behind it. Action step number 2, put your why behind it. Why do you want these things? Number 3 for today, we're going to get into a whole lot of strategy and methods in coming weeks. You're going to have a whole lot to choose from, but I want you to understand who you are so that when you hear these things, you're going to pick, oh my gosh, that's so me. Have you heard that before? Farming, door knocking, getting out into the community events, networking. That is so me. That's my behavioral style. Okay. Calling 100 times, 100 calls a day, getting on the phone, calling expires. Is that you? Maybe it is. Okay. There's lots of different ways you can succeed in business. And if somebody told me 20 plus years ago that the only way I could succeed in business was to pick up the phone and make cold calls for 2 to 3 hours a day, I don't know if I would be in business today. Okay. I do that now. With a different system that I have, and I'll train you on some of that too. However, it took a whole heck of a lot of growth to get there. What I found was I was great at farming. I just started door knocking, talking to people, and I found people really love to talk about real estate. So finding your strength. What is your strength? And this is why personally I've gone to different events like Brian Buffini. I've been to Brian Buffini. I've been to Craig Proctor programs. I've been to Mike Ferry. I've been to Tom Ferry. I've been to Club Wealth now. I've been to a lot of different trainings, and it's so I could see the different styles, because I talk to so many different agents that I want to make sure that maybe I can help direct them into an area that's going to speak to them, that'll help them take action. I hope I'm not rambling on too long, but I got to tell you, you hear too much. Okay, write down your big why, write down what you want, get here, find 3 things to get you there, but you don't drill it down. And what I want to do in these weeks are to start drilling down and speak. I don't care if it's 5, 10, 20, or 100 or plus of you, that you can start really focusing on who you are and what's going to work and speak to you. Here's I don't know if you can really see it on screen, but so this is my DISC behavioral profile. You're going to see I'm a 99D, 99I. So that's my behavioral style. You're going to go to anthonyrobbins.com and you can take the DISC assessment. You'll just scroll down there and you'll see where you can take a DISC assessment. Your step number 3 today is to go take that DISC assessment. Okay, I actually teach a full DISC class too. I don't know if I really can do that on one of these. I probably could be a little bit, but I'm hoping. I know the Menifee Chamber has approached me to teach there. I've taught for Marietta Chamber. I've actually in Marietta Chamber, I've taught for Women's Council and a lot of others, the DISC, and it is so beneficial not only for you to understand yourself, but understand other people. In fact, my whole family. This is not just business, by the way. This is personal and business. Understands this DISC. And so that is your step number 3 is to take your DISC. You're going to see who you are naturally. You're going to see the strengths that you have. You're going to see also some of the things, some of the challenges you have that might, by the way, I use this method too when I'm consulting with agents, because if there's a challenge they're having because that's not their strength, then we want to help them bridge that gap by maybe leveraging somebody else to come in and help them in their business to get so they can practice and be at peak performance in the area that's their strength. So your step number 3 is to take your DISC assessment. Okay, so I hope I'm not going on too long today. We're almost at 30 minutes. I wanted to kind of keep it brief and just get you started on a process of clarity, a process of growth, so that you can really build each week. And they're not always going to be in order, but there's always going to be nuggets of information that you can plug in to your, what you want and how you're going to get there. Your methods of getting there are going to be coming up in weeks there hereafter on how you're going to be getting to, to what you want. And take that DISC assessment, write your big why, and hopefully that's really going to help keep moving you in your business. Let's see. All right, so I just gave you your top 3 things to do this weekend. I'm going to leave you today. This is, like I said, a short one today. I'm going to leave you with something to think about in terms of a quote. So here it is. In a growth mindset, challenges are exciting rather than threatening. All right, they're exciting. You're getting challenged. So rather than thinking, oh my God, I'm going to fall down, you're going to be thinking, oh my God, what if I fly? And what if I fly? And what's my life going to be like? So that's what I want to leave you with today. I hope you enjoy this. Please take action on the steps we talked about today. Don't just listen to this and let it go by the wayside. Take the written action steps. And hopefully you took last week's too. Last week's was, of course, doing your video, doing your short little video and sending it out to your sphere of influence. It was interviewing, a local business and see how you can maybe help them if they've been impacted with coronavirus. All right, or anybody, do that. And also, hopefully you're plugging in daily to something that's going to help strengthen your mindset. Tony Robbins, John Maxwell, any of these programs, Grant Cardone, any of these programs that are going to feed you every day a little bit of more energy to continue to move that needle. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Join me please on Thursdays, share this with friends. And we are all here we're a village and we're here to help each other to continue to grow. So thanks again, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful weekend and make something happen. Take some action. Have a great day.